What is up, guys? Welcome back to part 6 of my college football predictions. Today we will be doing my bowl predictions for the 2022-23 season. We got a pretty good bowl game slate this year in my opinion, and let me know what you guys think of what I have for bowl predictions. Starting off in the Armed Forces Bowl, I have Memphis, who's currently 9-3. Going up against the 10-2 UTSA Roadrunners. UTSA is a very solid team all around, but I don't think they're going to have enough firepower to contend with this Memphis team. So I'm going to go with Memphis 34-24. Next up, we have the 10-2 Central Florida versus 10-2 Army. In my opinion, I think this is going to be a lot closer than most people expect. I think Army's going to put up a good fight in the first half. But at the end of the game, I have UCF getting a late game touchdown to win the game 23-21. Next up, we got an SEC versus Pac-12 matchup. 6-6 Tennessee takes on 6-6 Stanford. I'm pretty high on both teams this year, but I think Tennessee is going to blow out Stanford. I think Tennessee has a better defense and offense all around. I think they're the better team, so I have them winning this game 38-17. Next up, we have 6-6 Maryland versus 10-2 Central Michigan. In my opinion, Maryland's going to be the best 6-6 team I have. They just have a tough schedule with the Big Ten East this year. Central Michigan's a solid team. I have them winning their conference. But I have this game being a blowout. Maryland's offense is going to be way too much for Central Michigan's defense. I have them winning 45-10. Next up, we have the First Responder Bowl. We have BYU at 9-3 versus 6-6 Oregon State. BYU's biggest win is going to be against Notre Dame this year. And I think they might finish top 25 if they win this game, but it's going to be close because all the other teams that went 9-3. I have BYU winning this game 37-31 against Oregon State. Oregon State's a pretty solid 6-6 team. They could be better, but BYU is just a much better team, even though they're not a Power 5 school. They're an independent. But I feel like BYU get the win for the independents. Next bowl game, I have a SEC school versus a Big 12 school. 6-6 South Carolina takes on 6-6 Iowa State. I think South Carolina is going to be pretty solid with Spencer Rattler this year. Iowa State, I feel like take a step back with losing Breece Hall. I don't think they're going to be able to stop the South Carolina offense. But South Carolina's defense, I don't think they're going to be able to maintain Iowa State all game. So I got the score being 44-27 with the South Carolina win. The next bowl game I have is going to be very low scoring in my opinion. We have the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Kansas State has had a very good recruiting class this year and I have them going 7-5. Next up, we got the Iowa Hawkeyes. They're 7-5 as well. I feel like they take a step back this year after making the Big Ten championship last year. I had this being a low scoring game. I think Iowa's defense can stop Kansas State's offense, but Iowa's offense is terrible. So I have Iowa winning this game 14-13. And Big Ten taking down the Big 12 in this bowl game. Next up, I have the Cincinnati Bearcats, who made the American Championship for me, going up against 7-5 LSU. I do think this game is going to be a lot closer than most people think. LSU is a pretty solid team all around, but they also have a tough SEC schedule. Cincinnati had a pretty easy schedule this year, and the only SEC team they play is Arkansas, and I have Arkansas winning that game. But I do have Cincinnati pulling it out in a close game against LSU in the Military Bowl. Next up is a game between 8-4 Kentucky versus 8-4 TCU. It's the Liberty Bowl. I feel like this game is going to be very high scoring in my opinion. I have Kentucky winning this game 56-51 on a late second touchdown. This is going to be one of the bowl games that are very entertaining and it could go either way. But I'm going to go with Kentucky winning this one 56-51. Next up we have the Holiday Bowl. A team I'm high on is Washington this year. I feel like they have a bounce back year. I have them going 8-4. I think this game is going to be a lot closer because not BYU, but Boston College going 7-5, playing the ACC. I have them getting some upset wins this year. I think this game is going to be a lot closer than most people think. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be a defensive game, and I think Washington pulls this one out 21-18, winning the Holiday Bowl. Next up, we have the Texas Bowl. Of course, Texas is going to be in this one. I don't really see them being very great this year. But 7-5 Texas takes on 8-4 Arkansas. Arkansas is my sleeper for the SEC. They just have one of the toughest schedules in college football, which is why they were down this far. But I do have them beating Texas in the Texas Bowl game 28-17. Next up, we have the Big 12 versus the ACC in the Pinstripe Bowl. 8-4 Oklahoma State takes on 8-4 Virginia Tech. I think Oklahoma State pulls this one out in a very tough and close game. I feel like both teams are going to be ready for this game, but Oklahoma State is a better team, in my opinion, than Virginia Tech. So I do have Oklahoma State winning this game 30-27. I would not be shocked if Virginia Tech pulls this out. They're both around the same skill level, but I'm going to go with Oklahoma State in this one, having the Big 12 beat the ACC. Next up, I have 10-2 Baylor versus 9-3 Miami. I know a lot of people are high on Miami this year. I am too. I have them losing in the ACC championship. And then I got the 10-2 Baylor Bears. I have them winning the Big 12, but not being the best team in the Big 12. But they go 10-2. I do have them defeating Miami, which is another Big 12 win over the ACC, 35-31. These two could all honestly be making the playoffs this year, but I just don't see it because the other teams in the conferences are very solid. Oklahoma for the Big 12 and then Clemson for the ACC, obviously. But this is going to be a good one, and these teams' futures are bright, so I wouldn't be shocked if Miami wins this, but this is going to be a good bowl game in my opinion. Next up, I have the Alamo Bowl, Big 12 versus ACC again, with the Big 12 winning. 9-3, West Virginia led by JT Daniels. I do have them beating UCLA this year. UCLA is also a team I'm very high on this year. Both these teams could be bad this year, but I just don't see it. Both teams were mediocre last year at best, but both teams doing really solid this year. But I'm going to go with West Virginia winning 34-27 in the Alamo Bowl. Next up, we have the Duke's Mayo Bowl, Big 10 versus ACC. Got the Big 10 winning this one. A lot of people didn't like my Minnesota prediction. They have Minnesota winning the Big 10 West this year. I think they'll be in the contention for it, but all in all, I have them going 8-4, along with Florida State. Florida State just chokes most years, and I have Minnesota's run game going to be able to do good against Florida State this year. So I'm going to go with Minnesota 24-20, winning the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Next up, we got the Sun Bowl. I have 10-2 Oregon taking on 9-3 Wake Forest. I do not see this being a close game at all. I have Oregon 34-10. Bo Nix goes off this game, and I have Oregon winning 34-10. Next bowl we have is the Gator Bowl. This is going to be a good game. I have Ole Miss versus Pitt. Pitt is going to be taking a step back on offense this year, which is why I have them losing this game. They lost Kenny Pickett and Addison this year. Ole Miss, on the other hand, they got Jackson Dart at quarterback. Offense was very solid last year. So I have them winning this game 45-27, but I feel like this is going to be a good game in the first half. Next up, we have the Music City Bowl. Purdue won this last year against Tennessee. I do have them losing this year, though, against Auburn in a very high-scoring game. I have Aiden O'Connell going off for Purdue this game, but Tank Bigsby, I'm very high on him this year. I feel like he's honestly a contender for the Heisman. I don't have him winning the Heisman, but he's a contender for it. And I have him going absolutely off this game against Purdue. And I have Auburn winning 44-42, getting a big SEC win over the Big Ten. Next up, we have another bowl game. We have the Crest Bowl, which features 9-3 Nebraska facing 9-3 Texas A&M. I have Big Ten winning this one over the SEC, 31-28. Nebraska is another team I'm very high on. I have them winning the Big Ten West, but losing to Ohio State in the championship. I feel like Nebraska will be able to pull this one out in a very close game against A&M. Wouldn't be shocked if A&M wins this game either. Their recruiting class has been absolutely insane these past few years. But yes, I'm going to go with Nebraska 31-28 over A&M. Next up, we have the Citrus Bowl, which features Florida once again. I feel like Florida's always around this bowl game. Played Michigan twice in this bowl game. I have Florida winning this game over Michigan State. I'm very high on Florida this year. I just think they're going to be a different team with all the new coaches. And they had a down year last year, and they know what to do to be able to fix that. Michigan State, on the other hand, they lost Kenneth Walker. I do think they're a very solid team this year. But they lose the last week to Penn State. They're probably not going to be ready for Florida, in my opinion. So I have Florida beating Michigan State, getting an SEC win over a Big Ten team again, 37-31. Next up, we have the Cotton Bowl, which features the 11-1 Houston versus 10-2 USC. Houston won the American Conference but lost in the championship. I have them losing this game as well. USC by this time will have good team chemistry. I feel like they struggled at the beginning of the season, but get it together at the end. I have them winning 27-23. I would not be shocked if they do blow out Houston though. But USC is my pick to win the Cotton Bowl this year. So, what do you guys think? Next up, we have the runner-up of the Big 12 and the runner-up of the SEC. We got Georgia versus Oklahoma. I feel like by this time, Georgia will have its offense down. But I don't see them having it down at the beginning of this season, which is why they fall down to 10-2. And then Oklahoma loses in the Big 12 championship right before facing Georgia. So I feel like they're going to struggle. So I'm going to go with Georgia winning this game 38-20. I don't really see this game being close, and I don't think it will be close at all. But Georgia will be my Sugar Bowl champs for this season. Now we got the Orange Bowl. I have the Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking on NC State. I feel like Notre Dame's just the better team here. I do think NC State will keep it close, though. I have Notre Dame winning 30-24. Notre Dame is about to start the season off against Ohio State, and man, I cannot wait to watch that game. But at the end of the season, I do have them winning the Orange Bowl against NC State 30-24. Next up, we have the Rose Bowl. We have Utah versus Penn State. This game's going to be a very, very good game. Utah always somehow chokes a lead in bowl games, like they did last year against Ohio State, and I think they're going to do it this year against Penn State. Penn State, Sean Clifford, I think it's his last year here. I think he does get the win in the Rose Bowl to let his career out of Penn State. Penn State is a very solid squad, and I have them winning this game 45-42. Now is the time we've all been waiting for, the Final Four. Coming up for the Fiesta Bowl, I have number 2, Ohio State, the Big Ten champions, versus 10-2, Clemson, the ACC champions. They've played like 5 times in the last 10 years. Clemson has the lead right now, but Ohio State gets it done, winning 38-27. CJ Stroud and Henderson go off this game, and Clemson is not able to keep up with Ohio State's offense. Ohio State wins 38-27, advancing to the championship. Now, the 1-4 matchup, the Peach Bowl. Number 1 Alabama takes on number 4 Michigan. Michigan does squeak in due to the record being 11-1 and the only loss being to the number 2 team in the nation. Alabama 12-0, SEC champs. Michigan's going to keep this close for the first 7 minutes. Then Alabama is just going to go off. Bryce Young proves why he's going to win the Heisman this year. And I have Alabama winning this game 42-23. Not going to be much of a game for Michigan once again this year. The national championship stage is set. We have Alabama, SEC champs, versus number 2 Ohio State Big Ten champs. We've also had this game multiple times. And most of the time Alabama wins, it's going to be the same outcome. I do have Alabama winning this 41-31. I do not see this game being a blowout this year, but it's going to be a double-digit win for Alabama. I have it being 41-24, and then Ohio State gets a late touchdown, making it 41-31. Once again, Alabama is going to win the national championship this year. I don't know who you guys have. Comment who you guys have winning. But Alabama is my pick to win the national championship this year. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know some of the bowl games are probably a little bit boring, but you had to make them. Who do you guys have winning the college football season this year? Who's your top 4? I really would like to know in the comments. I cannot wait for this Saturday. We got week 0 starting. Nebraska versus Northwestern. Hawaii versus Vanderbilt. Not the best games, but they're games to watch. And then we got that week 1 matchup. Ohio State, Notre Dame. Florida, Utah. This season's going to be great. So comment your final predictions in the comments and tell me who you have winning the national championship this year.